Hi Cancer, welcome back to my channel Tarot Z. I'm Z and I'm going to be doing your tarot reading, finding out what are the messages of the cards that come out in this reading for you today. Thank you so much for joining and for being here for the reading. So let's begin. Let's find out what cards come out and what messages come through with the cards that come out in this reading for you. So the first card we have is the Chariot card. We do have Cancer energy with this. You could be dealing with another Cancer. We have the Three of Cups and we have the Fool card. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So the Eight of Pentacles showing up over here, this does feel like a pretty diligent kind of an energy or approach towards a connection with someone. I do feel like also this does feel like a sense of being quite invested. I feel like you're both invested in this connection. The Eight of Pentacles showing up over here, this does feel like it's an energy of kind of putting a lot into making something work with somebody. And I do feel like this person reflects that same energy when it comes to this connection with you. With this Eight of Pentacles, this also feels like an energy of kind of being in a space where there's a sense of also having a pretty, I do feel like especially when it comes to even other things like career and even when it comes to learning, being able to get to a good place, this feels like an energy of kind of making strides in a way that does feel like you're reaching milestones in those fields. I do feel like with this Eight of Pentacles, this does feel like an energy of actually gaining somewhat of also mastering this connection with you and even how to handle things and being in a space where there's an openness to being able to learn. I do feel like with the Chariot card showing up over here, when it comes to a person you're in connection with, this person is very certain about you. I do feel like there's a sense of also being quite driven to be able to make that known to you and also kind of take this connection to the next level. There's a sense of, with this Chariot card showing up over here, this feels like an energy of wanting to be able to overcome any kind of obstacles in your path because there's a sense of determination that this person has. When it comes to their feelings for you, I do feel like this person's sure about you, and very much so. With the Three of Cups showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of having a strong foundation in friendship. So when it comes to this connection, things may have started out on a friendship level, but this does feel like it's also something that benefits your connection. I do feel like with the Three of Cups, this feels like a strong emotional connection as well, also being present. Do you feel like also having a connection that feels like you also get along in a way that friends do? I do feel like with the Three of Cups, this feels like a positive energy as far as also being able to have good times and experiences in this connection with this person. So I feel like when it comes to being able to have a connection that feels quite genuine when it comes to how you perceive this person. I do feel like with this Fool card showing up over here, this feels like an energy of kind of being in a space where there is a lot of faith that is in this connection and even what this connection can be and being able to move it forward. I feel like it's a driving factor for this person when it comes to making things work in this connection with you. I also feel like with the Fool card, there's an energy of being in a space where somebody is in a space where they are listening to their emotions. I also feel like it's also something that this person's quite driven by. I do feel like there's a desire to take a leap of faith in this connection. And I do feel like with the Fool card, this also feels like an energy of being able to have those positive experiences in this connection. And this person kind of bringing that to you through this connection. So I'm going to clarify these cards. We have the Temperance. We have some Sagittarius energy with this. Could be dealing with a Sagittarius. We have the Hierophant. We could also be dealing with a Taurus with this. And we have the Knight of Pentacles. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Wands. So the Six of Wands showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of being able to actually attract a lot of attention through this connection. I also feel like you could be dealing with somebody who has a lot of attention as far as being in a space where there's a lot of people that this person kind of works with or even is kind of in a space where they get a lot of attention or they're in the spotlight. But I also feel like with the Six of Wands, this does feel like an energy of wanting to be able to kind of make things more so official in a way that also allows for other people to also be able to also get insight into your connection. I do feel like kind of going public with this connection. But with the Six of Wands, this does feel like an energy of popularity. I do feel like there's something about this connection that makes it so that it's in the spotlight. So feel like when it comes to that idea of people wanting to make this connection more so public, does feel like an energy of someone wanting to be able to go public as far as social media and kind of like getting attention for this connection by being able to reach a lot more people in the knowing of this connection, whether that is through posting you and being able to make things official online. I do feel like with the Temperance card showing up over here, this does feel like a very patient energy. I do feel like this person is in a space where they want to be able to experience things kind of progressing, but I do feel like this person is someone who's also being quite patient with it at the same time. With the Temperance card showing up over here, I also feel like this person is somebody who, I do feel like when it comes to your connection, they're in a space where they take their time as far as being able to establish that this is what they want. And I do feel like that's why they have so much of certainty. I do feel like with this Temperance card showing up over here, this feels like an energy of being able to have a strong connection with somebody where I do feel like you and this person align on a lot of things, and it is in a way that makes this connection quite significant for this person as well. I do feel like with this Temperance card showing up over here though, this does feel like an energy of kind of taking things at a gradual pace in order to be able to experience the forward movement happen in a way that feels comfortable. I do feel like with the Hierophant card showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of wanting to be able to have a connection that does go the distance. So I feel like it's committed energy, especially when it comes to being able to have a commitment that is headed to somewhere that does feel like it's very official. It does feel like there's a desire for being able to have what may be marriage, and also being in a space where I do feel like for yourself that could be something that's a goal. I do feel like with the Hierophant card showing up over here, this feels like an energy of also making moves that are very wise as far as learning from the past when it comes to this connection. And I do feel like with the Hierophant card showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of being able to experience, I do feel like a very good connection with somebody because of a very wise approach based upon learning from the past. I do feel like with the Knight of Pentacles, this does feel like an energy of somebody being quite invested in this connection. And I do feel like they show you through their movements, and I do feel like they kind of take their time, but they are certain about this connection. I also feel like this person being in a space where they are investing any time or energy into it is because it means a lot to them. I do also feel like they want something that's going to last a long time, and they don't want to jeopardize that, but they move at their own pace. And I do feel like with this Knight of Pentacles, this feels like a steady energy in this connection. So I'm going to clarify these cards. So we have calling in your soulmate. You have playfulness. And we have heart-to-heart conversations. So the calling in your soulmate card showing up over here, this feels like having a connection that's built upon intentionality. I do feel like there's a sense of being in a space where there is a sense of you being in a place where you're looking for something intentionally. With the Hierophant card showing up over here, this also feels like an energy of actually being quite wise in your approach with what you have learned from the past when it comes to how you're actually approaching this connection with this person. So feel like with the Chariot card showing up over here, this feels like a very determined and intentional energy that this person also has. And I do feel like you are aligned with that. I do feel like with this calling in your soulmate card showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of meeting and finding a soulmate connection in this connection with this person. You're both seeking the same thing, and I do feel like it's bringing you together. With the playfulness card showing up over here, I'm getting this pertaining to the playfulness, to the Three of Cups card showing up over here. This feels like an energy of being able to actually derive a lot of joy and even enjoyment in this connection with this person. With the Fool card, this does feel like having opportunity to have adventures. They could even be travel, but it does feel like being able to actually really enjoy in each other's company. I also feel like with the Playfulness card showing up over here, this does feel like also having a connection that does feel like it is light-hearted as well. And it does feel like having a nice balance between having seriousness towards what is the commitment and being able to take that quite seriously, but also being able to have the sense of fun, the sense of play, and this connection with this person. I do also feel like when it comes to being able to experience this connection with this person, I do feel like you may be meeting them when you're out and about, when you're in the social scene. I do feel like when it comes to being in a space where it's like you're in your element as far as being able to experience, being in a place of having a good time. You still feel like there's a sense of kind of having a connection developed through that. I do feel like with the heart-to-heart conversations, this does feel like an energy of being able to kind of have a lot of, I do feel like there's a lot of opportunity for having meaningful conversations and communication with this person. I do feel like that happens because of having strong chemistry, but also when it comes to being able to have a kind of connection with a person who enlightens you. With this Temperance card, it does feel like this person kind of being able to give you a perspective that does feel like it is something quite interesting, something quite fascinating. It does feel like this connection is also one with a lot of depth. I do also feel like this person feeling like you bring that to them, and it's quite interesting. It's something that's quite intriguing for them. You do feel like with the heart-to-heart conversations, this does feel like being able to also have deep communication where it's like you're not shying away from discussing even the hard topics or even the really deep things with each other. So those are the messages I'm getting with these cards for you, Cancer, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, Cancer.